One of the problems with playing historical board games is sometimes it's hard to find people to play with. And there's a very nice program called Vassal that lets you play these games online. Vassal is a program that installs on your computer, and it uses Java in order to open board games so you can play online. Some of them are rules enforced, but most of them are not. It's very much like having the board game directly in front of you. Another nice thing you can do is use Skype to talk to people while you play. So it's pretty much like having a face-to-face game in front of you. One of the things that's really nice about this is that you can save games if you don't get to finish. You don't have to worry about somebody bumping the table or a cat eating one of your chits or something like that. You download the program, you install it on your computer, and when you open it up, it'll look something like this, but completely empty. The first thing you'll want to do is go to Tools, open the server status. It may look like this when you first open it. You just slide it to the left here, and now you can see the people online that are playing games, and take a look and see if there's a game that you want to play. So the second thing you want to do is go to the module section, and you take a look through this list, and you try to find the game that you want to play. Let's say we wanted to download Hold the Line. And we download this little file, which kind of acts like Microsoft Word in the sense that the program opens this file, and when it opens up that file, you can see the board game in front of you. So let's take a look at that. So the first thing it's going to ask us for a user ID and a password. This can be anything that you want. And you put any password that you want. There's no registration or anything necessary. And you'll notice it comes up like this. In the newer version, for some reason, you don't go online automatically. So you have to click this button right here. And then click here to connect. And then now you're connected to the Vassal server. Now if another player does that, you'll see him in the same room with you. You can create a room that you wanted to play in. And then when you create that room, you'll automatically go down here. Your opponent will right click on this and select Join Room, and you'll both be in the same room. To create a game, you go under File. You can look at the scenarios. Some have scenarios, some don't. Some have manual setup. Some have combat charts, some don't. So it's important that you own the game to play these, because the rules are not completely in the Vassal modules. So now we pick a side we want to play. Then the opponent will pick a side, and then you can begin playing the game. If you look under Notes here, this will tell us the scenario setup. And again, not all the Vassal modules have all this information. And we'll quickly go through the top here. I've gone through in other videos, but this is undo. If you make a mistake, you can always click this to undo your last move. This one is for stepping through a log file. Now a log file can record all the plays in the game. So if you save a log file, you click this and it fast forwards through the game so you can kind of rewatch it if you want. This shows the server status, as we talked about before. Retire allows you to quit one side and join another. And your passwords are what distinguish the different sides. So as long as you guys have different passwords, you won't have any problem. Dice rolling. You just click here. And you feel free to click on anything at the top of these and play around with it to get used to it. The pieces, if you want to make your own maps, you can drag these to the board. Now sometimes you'll notice that you can't click on them after you've dragged them on. You can shift click, and that lets you select it by pressing the shift button and clicking at the same time, and then moving it around. That way you can make your own custom scenarios if you want. You've got markers here for the game. Units. Let's say we wanted to add some more forces. have a stranded American unit out in the middle of the battlefield. Different factions. Again, we've got notes about the game. We've got the charts on how to play. A summary over here. And the turn. So not all of these have this. A few of them do, but this lets you kind of track whose turn it is in the game just by clicking pressing this plus button. Or if you make a mistake, you can go minus. And you can see the turns are changing here too. And that's the end of the turn, and that clears all the markers on the board. Now, when you're playing online without a voice client, it's difficult to tell who's firing at who sometimes. So some of the Vassal modules, if you right-click, you'll see the different options that are available. So the first thing you want to do is declare an attacker. And the second thing you'll do is declare the target. Now, some of these are a little finicky. As far as you have to click and delete this in order to touch the unit. You'll see that there's a line around this showing it selected versus the unit being selected. Now you see that line around there. So it takes some practice to get used to, but if you ever get stuck where you can't click on one unit, like see how I can't click on the 4 there, double click on a unit and it separates them, and double click it again to bring them back together. So let's say I wanted to move that infantry forward, and see how it's like not letting me. If I double click that, bring that forward, and you'll notice there's a movement line there that helps the other player know what's moving on the board. And that's that's pretty much that. So let's rewind that. So let's say this guy rolled some dice and he hit a 6, which he did, and he hits this guy right here. So again, right-clicking on the unit shows you the options available to you, and then you'll take a hit marker. So now he's down to 3, and that's recorded up here in the log. And so now, the turn will basically pass between players. You can either type up here, or on Skype you can tell the other player, whatever you want to do. So let's say that you don't get to finish a game and you wanted to save the game for later. You just click on this little file and then save it as hold the line scenario 1 with Brad. And then you save that file, and then later on you can come back to it, go to file, and then load game, and the game will pick up exactly where you left off. Another thing you can do is log files, and you can record all the plays that you're doing. And some people play by email, so they'll take this file, they'll record their log in their turn, and then mail that file to the other person. The other person will pick that log up, play it on their computer, watch what they did, and then do their reaction to that and record a separate log, and then mail that back and forth. That's called playing by email. A very popular way to do this. So again, one of the difficulties I had with Vassal when I first started playing is trying to find people live, sitting waiting to play the game that I wanted to play. So some people post on Board Game Geek in the discussion threads that they're interested, but it does tend to fill up the chatter. So we started this Vassal War Game group called facebook.com/groups/Vassal Wargamers. And what happens is people post what they're interested in playing, what time and what time zone that they're in and interested in playing. And other people who are interested in that game will meet up with them and play online. It's worked out really well so far. I think I covered all the buttons here. This is if you want to take a picture of it. Zooming in and zooming out. This is if you want to check the line of sight between units. And this is if you want to clear the move markers. Say if this is the end of the turn, you want to clear the movement. And that's pretty much it. Each vassal module is independently designed by many different people, so sometimes they have some really cool advanced features and sometimes they're pretty basic. But after you get used to it, you'll see how they all kind of work, and usually they come with a help file that helps you learn how to use that specific module. I hope you enjoyed this and it helps you get started playing games. Take care.